Welcome back, it's top 10 time. Let's find 10 seriously good new motorcycles for £7,500 and under. Subscribe and comment if you want us to look at the best scooters for your money in 2024 and beyond. Now, say you've got around £7,500 to play with. You're after a new motorcycle with warranties and that new bike experience to enjoy the rest of the year on and further afield. And of course, we're not looking at used options here as well. And you're after maybe a motorcycle that's over 125cc, maybe an A2 category bike, and maybe up if we can find one. So let's see what we can find, what offers the most power per pound, and which three I'd recommend at the very end. So let's go. Starting off the 10, we kick off with 3 naked bikes. First up is the True Gem in the... Now, when we first got sight of the new single-cylinder motor from Triumph and Bajaj, many riders' eyes and ears were perked up. Triumph quality and style with the affordability of mass production from India. And at £4,995, the Speed 400 is a serious 5-star bike. I rode it out on the launch in Valencia and it was simply exceptional on the day. Plenty of torque, a sharp lightweight chassis, 170 kilograms wet, plenty of ride character, and most importantly, it's all wrapped up in a seriously affordable package. It's well under the £7,500 limit we set here, so that will leave plenty of money in reserve for a few accessories, or you can add about £600 for the slightly taller Scrambler 400X. Now, the speed is a tad on the smaller side, for me, particularly as a larger rider, but that new TR series single pumps out 39.5 brake horsepower and 37.5 Newton meters of torque. Now, that's perhaps not a large number on paper, but when you work your way up the rev range and you get to the peak torque figures, when that kicks in, it's outrageously exciting. I did have a great time when this launched, so check out the review in the top right if you want more. It's a tough one to look past. It's a fantastic place to start your two-wheel career, or step down if you want an easygoing bike that's seriously good fun. Next is the Honda CB750 Hornet. It's quite the jump in character here, and when we tested the reincarnated Hornet last year, we thoroughly enjoyed it. Honda has since unveiled a new smaller capacity 500 Hornet alongside a larger 1000cc Hornet, which has a 5-blade engine, though we're yet to really see more about that since its unveiling in EICMA of 2023. Anyway, with the 750, prices start at £7,299, which is a little bit up from the £6,999 when we rode it last year. I suppose bike prices are going up a little bit, aren't they? Unfortunately. As a quick rundown of this bike, you get 90.5 brake horsepower to play with and 75 Newton meters of torque. That's coming from the twin with a 270-degree crank, 190 kilograms wet weight, and some electronic gadgetry in rider modes and Honda selectable torque control. When we jumped on top of this one last year, you could instantly feel how flickable it is on twisty roads, but it's compliant enough for gentle rides and short to mid-distance tours. You may get a bit uncomfortable after a few hours in the saddle though, as I found out when we rode it to ABR last year. Not sure why we decided to ride a Hornet to ABR, but it was good fun and I enjoyed it. All in, this is a fantastic bike if you have the budget for a brand new one, but you can also find run-in options for around £6,000, and it's a Honda, so it should be pretty bulletproof. Last in the naked category, we have the Kawasaki Z650. At £7,139, Kawasaki has slid in here with a nice option that has been mildly updated for 2024. It's fitted with a parallel twin with 67.3 brake horsepower and 64 Newton meters of torque. It's got dual throttle valves, an assistant slipper clutch, traction control, new Dunlop Sport Max Road Sport 2 tyres, and all in, this could be serious fun. Though on paper it's not quite the value for money that the Honda Hornet offers in power per pound. It weighs 188 kilograms. But the Tsugomi styling and Kawasaki's philosophy does ring true on this one and really stands out in the crowd, particularly the colour options. Though in my opinion you'd have to go for the black and green option, there's no other choice because it's a Kawasaki after all. Consider also the lower power output from the factory. Now that does make it a good option for an A2 rider. If you get it restricted, you're not going to be missing out on a large chunk of power as the bike was intended to be ridden. It's only about 20 brake horsepower off. So it does look like it could be quite good fun on the roads. Reviews do note it as having light handling and a punchy engine, and plenty of riders say it's one of the best picks for a starter motorcycle. So if you're looking to start your career, maybe start on one of those. Now, before you get into the comment section to say you forgot the MT-07, where's the KTM Duke 790, their current UK pricing in the UK is over £7,500. I think they're just over. They are good bikes. If you've got a little bit more budget, give them a look. Though fair play if you did say, how did you forget the SV650? It's £7,400 or so. But that's a little bit long in the tooth now, and I think that the Suzuki GSX 8S has taken its place. And anyway, that would mean there's no room on this list for our sports category. First, we'll look at the CFMoto 450 SR. Now here's a lovely looking budget pick at £5,599. It's got some seriously sporty styling, as you can see, and judging from reviews, it does seem to be a bit of a dark horse on these type of lists. It could also make a stellar track day bike if you're into that sort of thing. Now I'm quite a fan of what CFMoto are doing, with some strong design cues and some impressive performance spec that could well undo the instant dismissal that a lot of Chinese two-wheelers suffer because of where they're built. The sporty rendition here has an adjustable 795mm seat, and it goes about 10mm up or down, and that will suit your preferences, as well as the raised rear pegs and low handlebars for a nice tucked in sporty feel. Power wise, the 450cc parallel twin has 46 brake horsepower, so it's A2 compliant, and that's reached at a tall 10,000 RPM. It's also got 39 Nm of torque, a slipper clutch, and it weighs in at 179 kilograms with a 14-litre fuel tank. Stopping power is also provided by a Brembo M40 caliper up front on a 320mm disc. You've got a 220mm disc at the rear, and you've got ABS as well. There's also a TFT screen with smartphone integration with USB Type-C/A charging. Now moving on, we have the Yamaha R3. This one's lightweight at 169 kilograms, it's got a low seat height of 780mm, and it's just lots of fun. The R3 is a top pick for those who are after an easygoing sports bike from Japan that they can absolutely wring the neck out of and use 100% on the road, or even step to the track. But it's easygoing and mellow enough for a chilled commute. Now this one's priced at £6,508 currently, and if you're one for the Yamaha R Life, it's the next step up from the Yamaha R125, and then that goes to the R7, the R9, which is practically guaranteed to be on the way, especially when I was on the XSR 900 GP launch, which seemed like a bit of a testing of the waters, and that goes all the way to the hallowed R1, which coincidentally is on its way out of production in 2025, unfortunately. Boo. The central air intake is also inspired by the Yamaha M1 from MotoGP too. So furthering the racing pedigree is the low tank and bars for the racing feel, KYB upside down suspension, and a high revving 321cc twin motor, which has 41.4 brake horsepower at 10,750 RPM and 29.5 Nm of torque at 9,000 revs. It's certainly worth thinking about if you're after a lightweight Japanese A2 racer. Our final sports bike has the Italian legacy. It's the Aprilia RS457. Now this one seems like a fantastic bike at a nice price tag, and it's got the Aprilia Be a Racer heritage, and that of course goes to the RS660 and then all the way up to the lofty heights of the RSV4. Now this RS457 may then appear to be a bit of a beginner option that veteran riders might turn their noses up at, but looking at the spec here, that seems far from the case. It's got a superb power to weight ratio, and the 457cc parallel twin brings 47 brake horsepower and 43.5 Nm of torque out of the box, with a dry weight of 159 kilograms. The wet weight is 175. And this is thanks to an aluminium frame, racy wheels, and it's compact. But despite a compact size, it's also well set for a blast. It's preload adjustable 41mm upside down forks and rear shock, semi handlebars mounted above the yoke, and an 800mm seat. MCN also reckon that this has a 5 out of 5 ride quality. Does only boast a 13-litre tank though. It's also the brilliant price tag that makes this one so appealing. It's just £6,500, and that's brand new. You get rider modes, TFT dash, bi-bree brakes. I think you could surprise quite a few litre sports bikes on the road with one of these, especially if you've got the right amount of skill at hand. So no, neither the Honda CBR 500R or the KTM RC390 make the top 10 this time around, but they are certainly worth a go. And from my days at Visor Down, I distinctly remember Toad saying that the CBR 500 was one of his favourites to ride, and that's before I set off on the North Coast 500 tour in Scotland, and I was riding the 500cc range at the time. Great fun. But anyway, moving on, next category, I'll call this one Budget Adventurers. So naturally, Royal Enfield's Himalayan 450 is stepping up here, and that's of course taking over from the old Himalayan. Now it comes with a liquid-cooled single-cylinder motor, it's got uprated Showa suspension and a flash new display. It's practically guaranteed to tick the boxes of riders who want that raw Royal Enfield character in a modern adventure format. And a huge selling point for the Enfields is, of course, the price point. You can pick up a brand new Himalayan starting at £5,850, which is seriously good in my eyes. Power is a little low at just under 40 brake horsepower with 40 Nm of torque, especially considering the 196 kilograms weight. But by all accounts, this will do the hard yards, both on and off-road. course, that shower suspension is going to do a lot of work there, and you get an adjustable seat which starts at 825mm. Of course, reviews of this bike by all accounts are very positive, and though we spoke about the Himalayan a lot on the channel in previous videos, I'm actually still yet to have a go on one. It does keep eluding me despite a couple of chances to get on it, so let us know if you've ridden it in the comments down below. Of course, also mentioning that on our top 10 middleweight adventurers list, where I put the bike on that list caused a bit of controversy, so check out the video there, check the comments, let me know if I messed up. Anyway, next up, the KTM 390 Adventure. Now, this is a firm rival for the Himalayan. The Austrian brand has crafted a bike that I've personally never heard a bad word said about from those who have ridden it. The 390 Adventure is all things lightweight and adventure ready. The motor is a 373cc single with 44 brake horsepower and 37 Nm of torque. It weighs a really low 165 kilograms, though it does have a really tall 855mm seat, so you might want to be on your tippy toes if you're riding this one and you're a little bit shorter. It also has a 14.5 litre tank, so that theoretically gives you quite a lot of room for adventuring, considering it's a single cylinder. Other spec, it has 43mm WP Apex forks, got huge 170mm travel in those forks. You've also got cornering ABS, off-road ABS, and even off-road mode. And that's all accessed through a smartphone connectable TFT display. You could happily tackle long days in the saddle here, it will do it all. And of course you can hit the trails and the byways. It's definitely worth a consideration. But we'll just throw in as well, there are some rumours that the 2025 edition of the 390 Adventure is going to see some significant upgrades. So you might want to hold out for the new one if you're really setting your eyes on this. Or you can just wait for the price to drop on this current model if you're going to be happy with that. Up to you. Now, when the time comes and you need insurance for your motorcycle or scooter, make sure to get a quote directly with Lexham Insurance by clicking the link in the top right-hand corner. With over 22 years of experience providing scooter and motorcycle insurance, there are several exclusive schemes only found at Lexham. You could find the right insurance policy for you. You can get a quote ready for when you pick up your new bike, or you can give them a try when your insurance renewal comes up. Time for our final category, and we move to the cruiser world. And after that are my 3 picks, so stay tuned. Now, first we look at the Honda CMX 500 Rebel. So another entry from Honda, the 500 Rebel is £6,399. And for your money, you get the 471cc parallel twin that's used in all of the 500 range. This one's got the A2 friendly 45.5 brake horsepower and 43.2 Nm of torque, plus an assisted slipper clutch. But it's in an out and out accessible cruiser format. With the classic custom look that cruiser fans adore, the front lights are LED and the key is mounted to the left side of the tank, and the seat height is a nice and low 690mm, so that means a lot of people are just going to be able to get on this and ride away happily. The pegs are also beneath you, so instead of feet out forwards, they're underneath you, which means it's a nice and neutral riding position. You've got 45mm forks and preload adjustable Showa twin shocks. Of course, it's the classic trellis framework on show here as well. You could argue that not much really has changed with the CMX Rebel formula in a few years here, and the dash does still look a little bit rudimental, but why mess with something that just works? And another cruiser to consider is the Kawasaki Eliminator 500. It's a new one for this year, it's priced at £5,999. It's a bit of a blast from the past here, but with a modern take. Now, the 2024 Eliminator is fitted with a Ninja-based 451cc twin, pumps out 44.7 brake horsepower and 42.6 Nm of torque, of course with an assisted slipper clutch at hand too. Stylistically, it looks nice and sleek and low, weighs in at 176 kilograms, got a steel trellis frame, and twin rear shocks paired with telescopic forks. The riding position does seem nice for long days in the saddle. You've got pegs underneath you again, as opposed to feet forward, allowing you for a nice neutral and natural upright ride. Outside of that, you have a digital LCD dash, tiny little pillion seat, but you've got a grab rail, and a low 735mm rider seat height. The Eliminator has a cruiser style and looks quite a nice option for just under $6,000. Now, one pick that didn't make the list is the Meteor 350, which you can seemingly pick up for around £3,000 if you go to the right dealerships. To be fair, you could pick up probably any Enfield you want for under £7,500 as well, so I'm not just going to include their entire lineup on this top 10 list. Anyway, time for my 3 picks. Now, first of all, I have to go for the Speed 400. It's a fantastic bike, and I'd just recommend it to anyone for the pure riding joy alone. Chasing that torque is sublime. Now, second pick, I go for the Aprilia RS457. Of course, the 660 edition is brilliant, high revving fun, and I'd say that the new 457 looks to be equally as fun on the roads. Third pick, who would have guessed it, is the Himalayan, but you'd probably know that if you watched that top 10 middleweight adventure bike I was talking about. The Himalayan just looks nice and accessible, good price, it can do it all, and it just looks like quite a significant upgrade that's going to carry it through to the Euro 5 Plus, and I just think it looks like a great bike. Really want to get a go on that this year. Now, I've also got a question for you. Say you've just bought a brand new machine from this list. Do you follow the recommended run-in instructions and just take it easy, sort of slowly increasing the revs as you get through the mileage? Or do you just throw the book out the window and go full throttle from the off? Let me know in the comments down below, please. Now, if you made it this far, I appreciate the watch. Give us a like and a subscribe. Cheers and ciao.